Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Uh, Happy belated Thanksgiving. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining. So tonight we're going to talk about the December forecast for astrology. Um, I'm going to talk here publicly, and then I've got extra for my memberships. Uh, I started looking at, I've been looking at them for a couple days, but I really started looking at these aspects and it took me like 4 hours down. Because I'm by nature, I research. Like that was my job. That was my prior job, my prior career. So I just want you to know I do have a membership. I released a video to my members today. Um, it is $4.99. YouTube gets half of that. I want to keep it at that same price. But I want you guys to know if you become a member, and I'll have a link in the description if you don't have a join button. I'm going to go in depth in December, and I talk about the aspects that nobody else really talks about. Like, for instance, when I'm looking at this Lilith and Jupiter retrograde, like, there's a lot here that people aren't really talking about. There's these quincunx, quintiles, all of these aspects that a lot of astrologers don't talk about publicly in on YouTube. I will be talking about those things. We've got like a lot of stuff going on for December. So let's go ahead and get started. We've got three planets that are going to go direct. I think it's three planets, and then one planet that's going to retrograde, right? So the energy is going to feel a little bit better. I think it's a little bit more calmer. Not so much introspective as we're going to start seeing on the outside of us. But the really important one is that Mars going retrograde this month. Mercury went retrograde, so be careful. Those of us that, if you were born with a Mercury retrograde, then you're used to working in this energy. If you're not born with a Mercury retrograde, then be sure to double check when you're communicating. Like it just happened to me. Wendy had texted me the day before, and I didn't even get the text till yesterday afternoon. So um, she texted me a happy Thanksgiving, and the other text came in, and it was an important text. So, hey, Wendy, I was just talking about you. So just be sure stuff like that's going to go on a Mercury retrograde. Um, yeah, but I want my members to know that this monthly astrology is not going to go in deep. We're going to deep dive, and I'm going to make a video about that. So you guys will get that like tomorrow, I think. Yeah, because I'm going to do it early in the morning. So when I'm bright and fresh. So hope everybody's doing okay. I know Wendy, did you get to your hotel and everything all right? Hope you're okay. Polly, thank you guys for commenting and on that video I gave you for the members. Members get a lot of extra stuff, and I've started working on that. I'm going to do a 2025 deal for them as well. We're going to deep dive into that because we got some changes coming. 2025, 2026. I'd said this for about 2 years now. Yeah, probably 2 years now. Yes, and saw my boy too. Okay. Yeah, I hope he's okay. I gotta call you. Again, I started looking at charts and studying, and I was like, for 3.5 hours, just was studying. Anyway, and so when I'm studying, I'm also like channeling too. Um, I hope your son's okay. Um, anyway, so I'm gonna deep dive into. I'd said this like 2 years ago, maybe longer than that. I don't even remember now. If we can get through 2026, 2025, 2026, 2027 is going to be a whole new, like, I don't have another way to describe it other than we're going to slide in and it's going to be really nice. We can just get through 2025, 2026, right? We have a bit of a head start, this group especially, but there are other groups that are doing this too, because we're not the only ones getting from the ether. But if we're knowledgeable, we understand what's coming, then it will help us get through this stuff, right? So, let's get started. So we had on, it's either November 30th or December 1st. We have this full moon. Um, this full moon in Sagittarius. I did a video live about this, and I think I cut it down into a video. So guys can go back and watch that if you need to watch that. I explain Sagittarius energy and what this new moon's about, all the other aspects that are kind of giving you the energy about what this is, right? So this new moon in Sagittarius, and then we have Mercury retrograde. So we've got some new starts, but I think they're starts from a while back. So this is just sort of our next phase in the new start. So it's a new start, but it's like the next phase of the thing we've already started. Jupiter plays a big role in this, and that's why I'm also thinking that it's the next level, because Jupiter plays a big role this month. And if you guys remember, and I'm going to talk a lot about this in the membership, whatever you were doing August 10th, so like from the 7th through the 15th of August, whatever was going on, that was Jupiter showing you things that were like your life was changing, habits were changing, things were changing. That was Jupiter. Jupiter and Uranus have both been playing this role, but Jupiter was showing you the possibilities that were available on your path. That he was showing you all these things that you had dreamed of, all these things that, not all the things, but some of the things that you had dreamed of, where you were on your path, and he was showing you possibilities, right? So because he plays a big role in this month, you can look back again. I'll go into depth in my membership one, but look back between like I would say like the 5th through the, yeah, through the 15th, somewhere through there. If there was something going on, something, and it wasn't like a harsh thing, it was like you getting over the harsh thing, and some things were opening up for you. Okay. That is going to come to that next level in this next month, right? So, because of this new moon, we have two new moons. So, we have the new moon November 30th or December 1st, depending on where you're at uh, on the globe. And then we have the Capricorn new moon. And then we have the full moon in Gemini in there. So, December 30th is the beginning, it's a start in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign. I know there's a lot of harsh, opposing energies, and see all this red, the opposing energies and the squares. But I like squares because it almost makes you that energy focused, and it gives you the energy, the oomph to like get things done, to see it clearly. And sometimes it takes that push and pull of that square to make that happen. So November 30th, December 1st, we have the full moon, right? You guys can go look back there because I show you all the other aspects. Then on December 6th, 4, 5, 6. Then on December 6th, Mars in Leo goes retrograde. Okay. So Mars in Leo goes retrograde. Now, remember when Mars was in Cancer, and I discussed, you can go back and look at those videos. I discussed this is about you understanding your emotional stability, what makes you stable emotionally, what gives you that stability and security. It's more security than stability. What makes you feel secure in your emotions? Who makes you feel secure in your emotion? What do you do that makes you feel secure in your emotions? And also, it was about you fighting and really standing your ground, and protecting those you love, right? Because it's Cancer, so it's the family. Cancer loves to like, Cancer will go and protect anybody that they love, right? If they feel like they're valuable and they are part of the family, they will protect them to the death. That's how Cancer is. I know a lot of people don't think of Cancer that way, but trust me, my sister is a Cancer. Wendy's a Cancer. Like, they'll do that. And so when Mars was in Cancer, we discussed that was that energy of you understanding that, right? And then he went into Leo, which opened that heart and further had you stand up for your emotional security. Now that you've felt it and understood it, when it's gone into Leo, it's about you like, no, I am standing my ground. I do, I am worth this, and I don't want this toxic people or toxic relationships or toxic whatever, right? Whether it's family members, partners, or relationship partners, romantic partners, or business partners. Like you were really understanding your emotional security, or you were beginning to see it, and then Leo gives you the courage to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to have that. No, I don't want those people around me. No, I'm not going to allow people to talk to me like that or treat me like that anymore. I'm more valuable than that. That's Leo with the open heart. Now he's going retrograde. Okay. So Mars is going retrograde in Leo, and Mars protects, right? So now is the time. And the reason I bring Cancer in this is because he's going to go back into Cancer, right? So not only has he been giving you the courage for yourself and to move through life and to attain what you want because you deserve it and you're valuable, you're also going to have this where he's protecting and you're protecting those around you, that you believe in, your family, your groups, right? So, oh, that's right. And which is a Cancer? Like we have lots of Cancers in here. Um, yeah, it's funny because a lot of people don't think Cancers are that way, but they are. Like if you, for me, because I've been around Cancer. Again, my sister is a Cancer. I've been around a lot of Cancers, cousins, Cancers, um, and friends. If they like, I'm scared of them when they get mad. I've never been on the wrong side of them because I'm always usually part of the group that they protect. But I've seen them. I've seen them. They're not nice when they have to protect somebody. Like they will fight you tooth and nail to the death. That's just how they are. They're very kind normally, but don't make them mad. Anyway, so you'll be dealing with that as you move here. But now that he's going retrograde on the 6th, and again, this is just one of the aspects, right? I'm not going to go in depth in here. I'll go in depth in my membership. But this aspect right here, where he's aspecting Saturn. Remember, Saturn, he's biquintile, right? So he's aspecting Saturn, and Saturn saying, are you really now I've shown you brought this stuff down from your dreams, right? Saturn and Pisces. You've brought this stuff down. You've brought your understanding. You've seen more of your belief. Your understanding of yourself is better. Your dreams and your goals are a little bit more defined, and you've been working on them. And all Saturn's asking Mars right now and during this retrograde is which ones do you want? Which dreams do you want? I've lightened up in my ears, I'm sure. Which dreams do you want? Tell me which dreams you want so I can open these doors for you, right? This is what the retrograde is. So also you might have some conflict because it's inner, it's retrograde, right? And so all that pent up energy, if you don't have it flow, then it could be pent up and you can get aggravated, agitated, all of the anxiety, all of that. So use the energy and just focus and say, okay, Saturn's just asking me which one do I want. I don't have to just pick one. I can pick a couple. They're not telling me that I just have to pick one, but he wants to know that I'm responsible. So this is the inner thing that's going to be going on with you while Mars is retrograde. Okay, in Leo. Leo has a big heart. Leo has a beautiful heart. Leo wears their heart on their sleeve, right? But Leo's courageous, and I don't know a Leo that doesn't know his worth. I really don't know, male or female. They all know their worth. I'm sure there's Leos that have aspects where they have to work on their worth. I don't know them. I've never encountered them. I've always known a Leo to know his worth. And so that's what you'll be working on with this Mars retrograde. Um, And that happens on the 6th of December. Okay. And so the question you want to ask is, what has given me the emotional security? And have I been brave enough to stand up for what I believe in and not allow these things to happen anymore? Like these toxicities, these relationships, these partnerships, these, have I stood up for myself? That's what you're going to be asking with this Mars retrograde. Okay. Then we go to the 7th. So on the 7th, that's another big day. Venus moves into Aquarius, where he is talking very, very closely to Pluto. Now, you can go back and watch that, and I'll attach it to this live. You can go back and watch that um, Venus, Mars, Pluto conversation, I think is what it's called. I think that's the title of it. But they're going to be talking again, and it's the same theme, right? It's the second level to the same theme. Have you softened? Have you received? Have you stood in your um, power? Do you know your worth? Right? Because again, Mars is aspecting these two. Mars is opposing, right? And so with Pluto and Venus having that same conversation that they did in March or April or whatever it was, it could have been February. I can't even remember now. But that same conversation, you can look back what was going on. But I would watch that video because it'll really give you an insight as to what was going on then. But that's the conversation that's going to be happening. It's almost like Venus is ready to receive. And trust me, if y'all have been working on this, you're going to receive something. That's Pluto gifting. That's Venus gifting. Pluto's going to let Venus gift, right? As long as you've had the courage, as long as you've been paying attention with Mars, right? But I think this is a good aspect. I think this is a happy aspect. I think this is a gift about your future. And that's because Aquarius is right there, right? This is all about your future. This is all about our future. And this is a personal planet, right? So this is going to involve you, not just society, but you. Now, on the mundane or societal level, yeah, this, we could have something really good happen where we're like a little bit like, wow, that just happened, because Uranus rules Aquarius, co-ruler to Aquarius, and he likes to shock and awe. So I can see where something goes through that we didn't think was going to go through. Um, like I'll give you an example. The only thing that comes to mind that like could shock us is like the IRS gets shut down, and you're like, what? Like, and that's a gift for us because we're no longer triple and quadruple taxed, right? So just something like that on the mundane, right? Something like that in society. But personally, if you've been watching me since January, February, March, and all this time in 2024, and you've been working on that Mars Venus with Pluto, I'm telling you, you're going to get gifted something. Um, Even though this is a hard aspect, so I'm thinking all you have to do with this retrograde is really look at, have I been brave enough? Have I been courageous enough? Have I put my boundaries down? Right? And if you have, I can see this being gifted. I know another astrologer is probably not going to say that, but that's what I feel when I'm looking at this. Okay. So it's on that day, Venus goes into Aquarius, right? He's opposing Mars, right? But he's conjunct Pluto. So she and Pluto are talking to each other about the baggage that you carry, about the wounds that we had, about being able to receive love and give love, about being able to receive what we feel is valuable and what we don't feel is valuable, right? Like all of that has to do with Venus, about luxury. All of that has to do with Venus, and Pluto is talking to Venus at this time. But we also have, I think it's a beautiful day. I know there's a lot of hard aspects here. You see a lot of red, but I don't know. I don't feel that way. Um, I'm feeling, and also this is why I'm feeling this because I just explained this, but then see that even though this is what they call a hard aspect, look at this sextile with Neptune who goes direct on that day. So Neptune, who's been sort of with the blinders off and giving us the cruelty of life, we're seeing it for what it is, and we're like, whoa, like, am I really seeing that? Did I just really see that? Is that really what's going on in society and my partnership and my whatever? Like all these truths were being shown to us while Neptune was retrograde. And yes, Neptune goes back and forth, but she's now going direct, and she's going direct on the same day that Venus is entering Aquarius, right? And so with this sextile, it's not like a trine. So a sextile to me means there's an opportunity there, right? And I feel like you'll feel better about it because Neptune's involved, because Venus is involved, and because y'all aren't too afraid. I'm not saying you're not completely afraid of Pluto because everybody should be a tiny bit afraid. I mean, you shouldn't let it overwhelm you. But I feel like if you know and you've been working with Pluto, this is going to be a good day. I feel like opportunity, and it's not just on this one day, but I feel like opportunity comes. I feel like you see clarity. I feel like you've stood up for yourself. I've been working hard to catch up. Yeah. So I feel Neptune going direct is going to give you. This is where I have a problem with astrology. It's like Neptune gives you the illusion, right? But when you think of the illusion, you're thinking lies, deception, blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, Neptune is beautiful. You can see things through a beautiful lens and have a beautiful perspective of where your life is going, of the dreams that are coming through. Remember, Pisces, Saturn. You've been working with Saturn on bringing your dreams through, and maybe up until the 7th, you're like, is this really worth it? I've been working so hard. I'm so tired, and like, is this even doing anything? Like, you could remember I told you you could be confused. You got Mercury over here retrograde with the sun, right? I feel like when Neptune, sometimes Neptune is that sprinkle, and Venus is that kind of, let me sprinkle on some magical dust. Let me sprinkle on um yeah, magical dust is what I'm getting. It's magical dust so that you can see the beauty of what you're doing, the beauty of where you're going. You may have forgotten because you're working so hard with Saturn, of where you're going and how you want to be. Does that make sense to you guys? Because, like, that's the way I see it. Okay. So that's happening all on the 7th. Okay. Now, energy doesn't stop or start, so it doesn't mean that it's right on the 7th and then it's over on the 8th, right? These are bigger planets. The energy continues to flow. So, you could experience a couple days before, even up to a week after. Okay. Now, that's on the 7th. Then we're going to go to the 15th. So on the 15th, we have two things. We have the full moon. I mean, that's not the right time, but the full moon is going to be, um, sorry, the full moon is in Gemini. Yeah. Let me make this right here so that you guys can see it. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay. So the full moon is going to be in Gemini, and it is at 23 degrees and 52 minutes. Okay. So the full moon will be at 23 degrees and 52 minutes. Let me get it back. Okay. So 23 degrees and 52 minutes. We're going to have the full moon in Gemini, where the moon is in Gemini and the sun is opposing that in Sagittarius. Okay. So the full moon is about releasing. It's about letting go. It's about having closure, right? And with it being in Gemini and Jupiter playing a big role this month, with it being in Gemini, and Jupiter really, remember I told you guys, if you saw my Jupiter retrograde, I said Jupiter showed you from like February all the way to when it turned retrograde the possibilities of your path. It was expanding, it was showing you, it was opening ways for you, opening possibilities for you. When it turned retrograde, I told you it wanted to know, well, which ones do you want? Do you want one? Do you want five of them? Do you want three of them? Which ones? You can't just tell me, you gotta show me, right? So I feel like when this full moon comes about, this is about that Jupiter retrograde that's been working in your Gemini house. What do I need to let go of? What habits do I need to let go of? And especially for Gemini, who can keep something inside them forever and hold something against someone for a long time, never say a word about it, but will. Doesn't always remember it, right? Because it's Gemini, we live in the now. But if you really hurt somebody, or you really hurt a Gemini like that, they will hold that for a long time. This is where I feel like if you've held something in that house, in that area of your life, that Jupiter has shown you, you don't you Jupiter's showing you like you don't need that anymore. You can let that go. Okay? You weren't dumb for doing it. You weren't dumb for following it. You weren't dumb for trusting that person. You weren't stupid, because that's Gemini's mind. Like, I don't want to be dumb. I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to, any of that, right? That's why and this is not every Gemini, but that's why they'll overcompensate and try to explain things to you because they don't want you to see them that way, because they're not that way, but they have sort of an insecurity sometimes about it. But this is what I'm feeling like this Jupiter has really worked on that Gemini, or the Gemini area of our life is like, you can let that go now. You don't need to do that. You don't need to overwork. You don't need to overplay. You don't need to overextend yourself. You don't need to, like, there's some things Jupiter's shown you. You have luck. You don't always have to work so hard. You just need to let me know what it is that you're wanting. But there are some things that are where you're going and what I've shown you. This is Jupiter saying where you're going and what I've shown you. You can't take those things because that's a different vibration. You can't harbor those feelings. You can't harbor that thing because it's not going to get you. It's not the vibration of what I've shown you. Does that make sense to you guys? So I feel like this full moon is really important for that reason. Again, there's other aspects going on, and I'll explain all that in my membership. But this is the meat of it, is that I feel like there'll be some releasing that is really pivotal in where you're going for your dreams, right? See how this is, and the reason I say that is because see this, that full moon again is T squaring, almost T squaring. So it's T squaring the Neptune, and it's aspecting, um let's see, 23, 10. I mean, some people will do a 10 degree orb. I'll take it. I'll take a 10-degree orb for it to be a T square. It's not a tight T square, but it's a T square, right? So it's aspecting the sun and the moon. And that's Saturn with your dreams in Pisces, right? And Neptune is now forward, which is also aspecting. So Neptune is like showing you, here it is. Here's your dream. You've been working really hard on it, but you gotta decide, are you gonna let it go, or are you gonna keep harboring this hate or revenge or whatever it is that you're harboring, right? Yeah. So it's going to give you clarity with the sun, but it's going to have you release with the moon. Okay. So you're going to see it clear. Even though Neptune is direct, you're still going to see it clear because you have been working with Saturn. You're going to see it clear and you're going to be responsible. Okay. So that's what's happening. Um, on the 15th, but also this is when Mercury is going to turn direct on this day as well. Okay, so it turns direct a little later time, same day, later time, right? And Mercury is going to be aspecting Mars retrograde, right? So are you standing up for yourself? Is your ego involved, right? Mars can be your ego out of balance, and with it retrograde, and Gemini, because that's what I'm getting is like that part of your life, that Gemini area, it's like really been held up because you've harbored some things, right? I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying that's the bigger energy that I'm getting, right? So with Mars involved and Mercury involved, which is Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, right? Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, right? So with these aspecting each other, it's really time to like let things go. I think this Gemini full moon is going to be deeper than a lot of people think it is. And so I'm trying to get you to understand all of these components. Maybe not all of them, but the major ones that are like going to affect you at this time. Okay. So Mercury goes direct a little later that day for the full moon. Um, and so you can now progress forward. You'll probably feel better after releasing this. Again, energy doesn't stop or start, so it doesn't mean on the 15th. You can do it 4 days before and up to 2 weeks after. Okay. So that's for the full moon. Mercury goes retrograde at that time as well. Then we go to the 21st. Sorry, this is the 20th. So then we go to the 21st, Capricorn season. My beautiful Cappies, it's your time. So a little later that day, we'll do it on the 22nd. But on the 21st, later that day, let's look. There we go. So later that day, the sun moves into Capricorn, which means it's Capricorn season. Happy birthday, Capricorns. Um, and I think for a lot of people, it'll be really grounded for the holidays. It's already different for the holidays. Um, it's already started that way. But I think with the sun going into Capricorn, you have to remember Capricorn has been evolved. All of our Capricorns have. So this is a very different energy than we have been in because it's evolved now. It's not the Capricorn that we used to have within us, right? We've evolved it. So I feel like it's a very nice, calm day, but that's the 21st. Then the 24th, uh, this is a really important one. So, okay, so on the 24th, Jupiter retrograde in Gemini is going to be squaring again Saturn. Okay. So Jupiter in Gemini is going to be squaring Saturn in Pisces. So again, Jupiter is going to be requiring and asking, what are you doing with your dreams? Let me know which one you want. Have you been working on them? Saturn's like, are you going to be the authority in this? You're seeing it more clearly. You're remembering your dream. Neptune at the 27th degree, right? And so I feel like on that day, you'll be dealing with that. You'll be sort of going back and forth. Well, have I said what I need to say? Have I done what I need to do to be able to move one step further for my dream to come true? That makes sense? And then on the 29th, Chiron goes direct. Okay. So I told you 3 planets were going direct. Where's Chiron? So on the 29th, Chiron goes direct. All right. We have been dealing with Chiron and this North Node that remember, it's going to move into Pisces, this North Node. Who are we? What do we want to identify? How are we in this world? What type of person or have we grown into? Have we stood into, have we leaned into who we want to be? Even knowing that, remember, Chiron is that wound that you don't heal. Like, you can work with it, but you don't heal it, right? Um, and so it's almost like, I'm just going to go back to the example that I give you guys. Like, um, with my late husband, that hurt will never go away, but I've learned to work with it and I help others with it, right? And so when Chiron goes direct, this is about who I've become. Do I like who I become? Have I stood in what I be? Am I standing in my truth? And do I have the authenticity? Am I agreeing with all this, right? And so that's Chiron direct. And then on the 30th, we have the new moon in Capricorn. So there are some new beginnings that we are going to have um, with this new moon in Capricorn, right? And again, this is a new area. Remember, we have evolved this area. So this new beginning is going to be sustainable. So this is where I said it gets closer to like that big dream that you're thinking of, right? But with Capricorn involved, I feel like it's going to be long term. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be you leading it, but I do feel like it's physical. I feel like it's part of that dream comes true. It becomes physical for you, right? And that means for all of us. So wherever Capricorn is landing in your chart is that area that your new moon. I want you to like focus on it because you have been already working on it, right? And again, Saturn rules Capricorn. So it is about this dream. It is about these dreams that you have been working through, working with, working on, becoming the authority, doing the time, being responsible. So I feel like that, and I'll do a separate video for the full moon and the new moon, but I just wanted to go over those. So I hope that helps. Again, to my members, we're going to go really in depth with some of this stuff, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea about what December is going to be like. It's going to be a very different holiday for everyone. I've known that for a while. If you've seen me in private sessions, I've told you this. We're in a space where we're finally not dealing with trauma being in front of our face, right? We're finally dealing with the remnants and letting go and seeing a new light, a new vigor in our life, right? But it's exciting and it's calming and it's peaceful for a lot of people. So I hope that helps. Again, I will be doing the in-depth one for the membership. That'll either come out tomorrow or the next day. So good night, everyone. I love you, love you, love you. See you on the next one. Bye.